So, if Sheriff Tugg was to be believed, Joshua Zimmerman was extremely lucky, somehow knew about a design flaw within the hotel, within the court system, the court building in Hernando, Mississippi, a building that on the previous occasions he had been to, he had never left the designated route of the normal inmate. And that is, they are unloaded at the rear of the building. They go down an alleyway, through a side door, up 2 flights of steps, then into the door of the courtroom. They are then sat down in that courtroom, and unless they go to the bathroom, and if they do go to the bathroom, they're escorted to the bathroom. So it's not like Zimmerman could have, said, "Hey, I want to go to the bathroom." They sort of like let him go, and he's literally walking around the courthouse for 10 minutes to try and figure things out. So Sheriff Tuggle's claim that Zimmerman was not helped is a fallacy. It truly is, and as we go on, you will see how much evidence there is to, and I'm not trying to discredit anyone here right now. Law enforcement have a very hard job to do, and when Zimmerman escaped, their primary focus was finding him. They didn't care how they found him, but they just had to find him because he is a dangerous guy. As episode 1 and episode 2 shows, he is very dangerous. Now, the marshals, when they were brought into the case later on in the morning of the 14th of June 2024, they were vetting anyone that came into contact with Zimmerman, but we, or me, have the foresight of afterthought, because once the marshals have done their job and interviewed a witness who may have interacted with the inmate who was on the run, they really don't look at them again. They're done. And the advancements of the escape is now getting ramped up for the courthouse. And Zimmerman accesses a contraband network around about this time and gets a cell phone and a handcuff key sent in to him through the contraband system. That's Zimmerman's own confession to someone that he knew quite well. And so DeSoto County jailers, it appears, according to what Zimmerman has told several people, there was a member of DeSoto County correctional staff that was part of the contraband network, which makes sense because the sort of stuff they smuggle in there, you have to be, the checks they do, you would have to be a corrections officer to get some of the stuff in there. So this corrections officer basically smuggles him in a handcuff key and a cell phone. It comes through the commissary apparently, and Zimmerman gets his commissary bag and about middle or end of April, gets his cell phone, gets his handcuff key, and now the escape's ramping up. They get called out into a corridor just after breakfast, between 6:45 and 7 a.m. They're then taken over to the other side of the prison, the jail, which is the Delta side, and they're meant to be patted down. It later turned out that on that morning the inmates were not patted down, which is not an uncommon thing. It's quite often that the protocols are not followed. Inmates are then fitted with a belly chain, their handcuffs, the handcuffs on the belly chain are then secured to the wrists, and then they put shackles on their ankles. So now, on the morning of the escape, the jail transport went Industrial Drive West to Vaden Drive. And if you're watching on TVM Media, you're now seeing this obviously highlighted. Vaden Drive to Mount Pleasant Road. They then followed Mount Pleasant Road to the intersection of East Commerce Street and turned left. Now, once on East Commerce, they were heading west along East Commerce, and the place Zimmerman actually got picked up is the Cook's Insurance Center, I believe it's known as. It's off of West Commerce, and the jail transport went right in front of there. So Zimmerman would have seen the truck that was picking him up. They then cross from across 51 onto West Commerce and come around the back of the courthouse. Zimmerman was on the front transport. They arrived there for about 8:30 points. But this is the thing. The Good Samaritans always maintain that Zimmerman wanted to go to Walmart. And in order for the Good Samaritan to get onto the Highway 55 that goes north to Memphis, he would literally have to be right next to Walmart. So what is a few seconds of dropping into the Walmart car park and saying, "There you go, buddy, off you go." Literally, it would take them 2 seconds, about 2-3 minutes extra on his journey. That's not a lot of time. But anyway, the Good Samaritan apparently was sat there waiting for Zimmerman. That's what the evidence suggests. That's independent witnesses who saw the truck the Good Samaritan was driving on that morning, sat in the insurance agency car park. He was in the truck, and this is independently verified by Zimmerman as well, because he's told people this. Samaritan was helping Zimmerman more than anyone realized, because the Good Samaritan told me and Tony whilst we were interviewing him on the phone that Zimmerman made a remark that he loved being in this area because he could be in 3 different states within 15 to 20 minutes, and you can. Memphis to the south has Mississippi, and to the west it has Arkansas. Then you're also, obviously, Memphis and Tennessee. So you can go anywhere, and it's a main transport hub. That's why FedEx have their worldwide head office and transport system there, because it is a hub for and the city has grown around FedEx. There's a lot of transport routes. Well, this is where TVMO came into its own, because through Tony's sources, we'd happen to find out inadvertently that the Good Samaritan's vehicle was back in Memphis on the night time.